And Bonds hits one high. Hits it deep. It is out of here. 7:56. Bonds stands alone.
17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open. Chicago with the lead.
Washington outside left. Roethlisberger has time. Throws to the back of the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown by Holmes.
Minute remaining. And they're putting Curry in the pick and roll, trying to get him on Irving. Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up.
It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
We're sending it in, Jerome. That's for damn sure.
Yes. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Taproom Sports Podcast. I am your host, Jordan. Stacks on stacks on stacks. Lads, joined with my man, Swerving Irving, Washington. Looking nice in that denim vest hoodie you got going on there. I like it. My guy looks like he's ready to go ride a Harley Davidson. Let's go.
I'm scared of motorcycles.
How you doing tonight? Other than your Lakers sucking ass.
I don't know why you keep beating a dead horse, bro. I told you, if Westbrook was on our opening night roster, we was going to be trash. So,
Well, I mean, here's the thing, dude.
call me Nostradamus.
I love when the Lakers are shit. Except it sucks because, you know, LeBron's one of my favorite players of all time. He happens to be on the Lakers now. So it's like a rock and a hard place because I want to see the guy succeed. But like you said, this roster is just constructed very, very poorly, dude.
Yeah, they made one of the worst trades ever. They should have had, I don't know what made them not want to get Buddy Hield and DeMar DeRozan, and they chose Russell Westbrook.
Well, I mean, LeBron wanted Russ, but that's LeBron's guy. Like, that was his homie, you know what I mean? Of course he's going to want his homie, right? But that's why there's basketball people in charge to say, hey, LeBron, that's not a good idea. You know what I mean? But those people, there's too many talking heads in that organization, and there's too many people. Like, why does Kurt Rambis have control over roster personnel? Like, why is he even giving input?
That makes no sense at all, and that's why we continue to be a joke until we hire an actual basketball mind that knows how to wheel and deal and make moves. Because at this point, Rob Pelinka is just a fucking a puppet.
Yep, and apparently, like, people don't really like him around the league.
Yeah, they don't.
So it's like it's a double-edged sword there. But we're obviously here to discuss some college football. We got Week 9. I can't believe we're at Week 9 already, dude. What the fuck, dude? Time has fucking flown by.
I think the first college football playoff rankings come out, next week or the week after?
Next week. And we'll start to give our college football rankings starting next week as well, our top 4 for the college football playoff. It's crazy, though. Week 9 and Ohio State's only playing their second road game, dude.
It's crazy.
How the fuck is that even possible?
It's called taking advantage of a terrible non-conference schedule,
but even their conference games have all basically been at home.
Yeah, they've been at home. So I guess the Big Ten is catering to Ohio State.
That shit is wild to me. When I was researching this week, I was like, "What the fuck? Only their second road game? That's crazy."
And they about to go into Happy Valley and beat the shit out of Penn State.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about that game. We'll get to that momentarily. I did want to mention, though, before we do get started, we are being brought to you by Tavour. Make sure to go to Tavour.com or download the Tavour app straight to your mobile device and use promo code TAPROOM for $10 off your first purchase of $25 or more. That's craft beer delivered straight to your front door. You don't even have to leave your seat. 2022, baby. We are, humans just keep coming up with beautiful inventions, and here's one. With that being said, before we get into college football, we did have some NFL news that came out today. And no, I'm not talking about Russell Wilson working out on the airplane. I'm talking about Robert Quinn is being traded from the Bears to the Eagles for a 4th-round draft pick. Now, there's like 2 things to this. Number one, we were talking on Monday after the Monday Night Football game when I said the Bears are dog shit. Like, they're not a good football team. Like, I thought that win on, even though I had Bears plus 8.5, I thought that was an anomaly win, right? And obviously the Bears front office kind of feels the same way. The fact that they're only like a game out of a playoff spot, you know what I mean? And their front office is basically saying like, hey, like we don't think this team's good enough to compete, so we might as well get as much draft compensation for guys right now, right? So I wanted to ask you, like, what's your thoughts about Robert Quinn? What's your thoughts from the Bears' perspective and from the Eagles' perspective, getting a guy like Robert Quinn?
Well, that just makes the Eagles that much better because they were looking for a pass rusher because where it was, they was in on Brian Burns too, but the Panthers wanted 2 first-round picks, and I think they're smoking crack because you're not getting 2 first-round picks for Brian Burns. But it is what people is willing to pay. But Robert Quinn, what he had 18 sacks, 19 sacks last year.
Yep.
You're going to see a lot of single team. He's not going to see a lot of double teams in Philadelphia, so he should be able to eat. I think he just makes that defense that much better. Adding a 3-time Pro Bowler, multiple 10 sack seasons, well, double-digit sack seasons, coming off a 19 sack season. So I think it's a good move.
I don't think he had 19 sacks last year. That's a
Was
lot.
it 19? It was 19 or 18 because he broke the record for the Bears.
But the 19's like the record for the NFL.
No, it's not. It's 23, 24. TJ Watt broke the record.
24 is the record?
Yeah, TJ Watt broke it last year because remember he got the extra game.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Regardless, I mean, like Robert Quinn was good. He is having a down year, though. I will say that he only has 1 sack this year.
Yeah, that'll probably help out. Last year he had 16 last year.
That's a lot. That's still a lot of sacks. That's really good.
Wait, no, 18 and a half.
18 and a half. That's really good. That's excellent. I mean, obviously the rich get richer. You know what I mean? That's how I kind of felt about the trade. Like I did say, Robert Quinn is having a down year. He only has 1 sack this year, and the Bears' defense has been pretty good too. It's not like they're a bad defense. It's basically been the only bright spot of that entire team, other than running the football on offense. But yeah, man, the Eagles. I mean, this is just such a bad NFC. Irv, like I've been very critical of Jalen Hurts. Like I don't think he is. I shouldn't say I don't think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's like the prototypical quarterback that usually wins in the long term. However, the NFC is so bad this year that it's like he has such a good roster around him that anything is possible. You know what I mean? Because like, dude, we've been talking about this. The Vikings are probably the second best team in the NFC, dude. And Kirk Cousins in primetime in a playoff game? Yeah, no, thank you.
Good luck.
Yeah, no, thank you. So I mean, like the NFC at this point is the Eagles to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, they're in the driver's seat. If they don't have any major injuries or any type of setbacks as far as their momentum on the field and the team continues.
Well, they're going to lose a game or two at some point.
Yeah, they're definitely going to lose a game. I don't see them going undefeated, but I see them getting being the number 1 seed and the championship having to go through them. They just made their defense that much better. If they don't have any major injuries, do we really see a team being able to beat them? It's hard to beat a top 5 defense and a top 2 or 3 rushing team if they don't make mistakes.
Yep, I agree. Like, and the NFC is just so bad, dude. Like,
yeah, so and you seen what they did to the Vikings.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Prime time, dude. Like, you can't trust Kirk Cousins in prime time. We know the history at this point. You know what I mean? And obviously, playoff games are going to be in prime time. So, good luck to Minnesota. Good luck, Sean Lowry.
Who else might give them a run for their money? Because we know
Seattle.
I wouldn't say Seattle. Well, maybe
the Niners.
Cowboys,
I mean, to be honest, when the Niners are fully healthy, I think the Niners are the best team. I don't even care who their quarterback is because that defense is definitely the best defense in the league when healthy.
Yeah, when healthy, they on another level when healthy.
And the good thing for them is that all their injuries came early on, and that's kind of what happened to them last year. And then they got healthy around Thanksgiving, and then they just like took off.
So yeah, it's definitely probably good. I'll say the Eagles, Niners,
Cowboys,
and then who would be number 5?
I mean, I still think like the Bucks have the talent, but I think they just have too much going on.
Yeah, there's way too much going on with the Bucks.
And maybe the Giants, dude. Like, you know, we're gonna find out. Like,
yeah, it could be the Giants.
I think the Giants are fakers, but you know, we're gonna find out, dude, at some point.
Yeah.
Are they for real or are they not?
It's getting close to that time.
Yep. Let's talk some college football, though. We got a handful of solid games to talk about this week. Actually, this week's slate's kind of like, as far as like top 25 matchups, there's not a ton out there. So we kind of picked like the 5-6 best games that we could. Obviously, the first game, this is big noon kickoff. This is Ohio State going into Penn State, really their first road challenge of the year. They've only gone to Michigan State. That's their only road game of the season. Michigan State is absolutely fucking putrid this year. Mel Tucker should be fucking arrested for highway robbery for the shit he's pulling at Michigan State. But, you know, get your money, dude. I got no problem with that. But anyways, right now, Ohio State minus 15.5. They're laying 15.5 on the road at Happy Valley. The total 61. Ohio State 7-0 on the year, 4-2-1 against the spread, and they're actually 4-1 in their last 5 games against the spread. They started 0-2 ATS, and then they're 5-2 to the over. Penn State 6-1 straight up, 4-3 against the spread, 5-2 to the over. Penn State's coming off a loss against Michigan, or they're coming off a win against Minnesota. I'm sorry, without Tanner Morgan though. Let's keep that in mind. And then Ohio State's coming off a huge win against Iowa in a game where Iowa turned the ball over like fucking 92 times, which I didn't even know was possible. I feel like every time they had the ball, they turned it over.
And they won 54 to 10, right?
54 to 10, and they covered the spread. It was minus 20, or closed minus 29.5, and the over hit, which was 50, and they covered the over by themselves, which you basically have to do when you play Iowa, because you know Iowa's not going to score any points. What's your thoughts about this game? It's probably gonna be a whiteout at Happy Valley, which they absolutely love. A lot of white people there. What's your thoughts on this game?
This game is going to depend. Honestly, it's going to depend on the first quarter.
Jackson. Oh, by the way, Jackson Smith Najiba, probable to play on Saturday.
Well, honestly, he's good, but has that offense looked any different without him? Honestly, so I think this game depends on the first quarter. If Penn State could come out, get a lead, put some pressure on Ohio State, get some stops, then we might have a game on our hands. But if they come out the way they did against Michigan, bro, it could be 21-0 in like 4 or 5 minutes, because that Michigan game, Penn State low-key got exposed. I understand they was on the road, but they was playing terrible till their quarterback had a 60-something yard run. And then they got a pick 6, and that kind of changed the game. But then in the second half, Michigan just turned it up, and they didn't rise to the occasion and got fucking steamrolled. So, and Ohio State is way better on offense than Michigan is. So
way better. Ohio State, far and away the best offensive team in college football right now.
Yeah.
And you can attribute some of that to who they played. I mean, they really haven't been tested. This is really their first test of the year, Irving.
Yeah,
if we're being completely honest, but I mean, dude, you look at their offensive stats. I mean, yards per play, number 1 in the country, 7.8 yards per play, and they're top 3 in defense yards per play against, only allowing 4.2. Penn State, they want to run the ball, right? 154 rush yards a game. Well, good luck. Ohio State only giving up 90.9 yards per game on the ground. But not only that, they're only giving up 2.9 yards per rush. Okay? This game's going one of two ways. It's either going to be really fucking ugly, and Ohio State is going to blow them the fuck out, or this is going to be really close, and Penn State could win this game.
Yeah, it's only 2 ways this game can go, and I'm thinking it's headed towards a blowout.
Yeah. I mean, at
this
point,
is just too inconsistent. Penn State has a good. they have a pretty good defense. Their secondary is probably the best thing on their defense. But can that secondary hold up against those wide receivers, potentially 3 first-rounders? Good luck.
Well, keep in mind, Notre Dame very similarly built defensively as Penn State is, where they defend the pass pretty well. I think it's going to be. This is the problem though. Is Penn State's defensive line got pushed around by Michigan, and I would say Ohio State's offensive line
is just as good,
if not better, right? So really, The only thing, if you like Penn State, I don't necessarily have a play in this game. I think 15.5 is a lot of points to lay on the road in a division, in a conference game, especially a team like Penn State, who I think is good. I don't think they're great, but
The problem is Ohio State might be great, and we saw what Penn State did against a pretty. I wouldn't say Michigan is great, but they're a damn good team. They're a top four, top five ish team, a playoff contender, and you seen what they did to Penn State.
yep. But they were also at home.
I get it, but even at home, that game was close until Michigan State leveled up and Penn State didn't rise with them. They kept playing the way they was playing in the first.
Well, the
half.
Michigan Penn State game was funny because I mean Michigan was like at one point it looked like Michigan was going to win that game 60-0. You know what I mean? And you said it like at one point Michigan had 13 points and Penn State only had 9 yards. 9
Yeah,
yards.
Not even a first down.
Yeah. And then they get that run from Clifford, and then J.J. McCarthy throws the pick six. But that was really all they had. They only had 17 points. That was the difference in the game. Ohio State, they are susceptible to turning the ball over. I mean, Iowa turned them over, I think it was 3 times last week. But Ohio State, on the flip side, their defense is so good that they could turn you over multiple times. Now, Penn State's offense isn't nearly as bad as Iowa's. But I'm with you. They are a little flawed. Steve Clifford, not necessarily the best quarterback in the Big Ten, right? And they don't run the ball like particularly great. They ran the ball 111 yards against Michigan, passed the ball 157 yards, but 111 of those yards came from a 60-yard run from the quarterback.
Exactly. Then the thing with teams like Ohio State, you got to be able to stretch the field, and if they're gonna be scoring touchdowns, you have to score
You have
touchdowns.
to match them.
And Penn State struggles pushing the ball downfield because Clifford is not that great of a downfield thrower of the ball, and he's not that accurate. You see a lot of his passes either going to the sideline or going over the wide receiver's head. So
Yeah.
that's going to be a tough one, man, because even like you said, 15.5 points is a lot on the road, but I feel comfortable with it. I think I'm going to put that's going to be one of my best bets, honestly.
Ooh, I'm not as confident. I do think Ohio State obviously the better team, but I am not willing to lay the 15.5. Just because I mean I've seen crazier things happen, dude. You know what I mean? For example, I mean Clemson was definitely the better team on Saturday against Syracuse, but
Yeah, but them turnovers, woof.
DJ Ukulele fucking turns the ball over fucking 3 times, difference in the game. You know what I mean? So it's tough for me to lay those points. I do agree with you though. If I were to play this game, it would definitely be Ohio State. I'd probably take the under just because I think if Penn State's going to be competitive in this game, they have to slow down. Like they cannot. If this becomes a shootout, Ohio State's gonna win, dude.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So if I'm Penn State, if I'm Franklin, I'm trying to control the clock. I'm taking as much time off the clock and I'm keeping Ohio State's offense off the field as much as I possibly can. Now, is that possible? I mean, anything's possible. Is it going to be easy? Absolutely not. But that's the only way they have a chance to win, dude. They cannot get in a shootout at all.
Yeah, if they get into a shootout, this game over by halftime.
Yeah. So, honestly, if I were to play this game, I'd probably play Penn State first half.
Mm-hmm.
Because, usually the better team always wins out at the end of the game.
Second half, yeah.
Because they just have more talent. So I probably play Penn State first half if I were to play anything. And I'd probably play the under, if anything.
I feel you because they probably play them close to first half and Ohio State pulls away in the second half.
Yep.
And covers the 15.5.
Yeah. They could. I mean, this game very well could be fucking 41-13, 41-14 at the end of the game. And it could go into halftime 14-17. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So that's how I feel about this game. Anyways, let's move on to our next game. We got a big SEC matchup. We got the Florida Gators versus Georgia. This is considered a neutral site, right?
Yeah, because it's
play in
at
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville Stadium.
Yep. So right now, Florida catching 22.5. The total is 56.5. Florida right now 4-3 straight up, 3-4 against the spread, and 4-3 to the over. Georgia 7-0 straight up, 4-3 ATS, 1-5-1 to the over. So a lot of unders there. What's your thoughts on this game here? It's gonna be raining. It's supposed to rain.
It's gonna be raining, so I definitely think the under would be a safe bet. But this game is gonna come down to can Florida's offense make this a competitive game against that Georgia defense. Now Georgia has been struggling, but the last couple of weeks they looked a lot better. Like we always say, Florida has talent. They got the depth on defense to compete with anybody. It all depends on what they're going to get from Anthony Richardson and that offense.
So Jalen Carter not expected to play, Irvin.
Ooh, well, that definitely affects.
I know they have another 5-star to replace him, but
yeah, but that dude's going to probably be a bona fide top 5 pick, and he's worth a couple of points. Like, in college football, it's some game changers on the defensive side of the ball, and he's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
But, Georgia might be banged up, but Nolan Smith is going to be on the field. I think he's going to have a big impact on the game. Can Florida hold up against them and block him? Because behind him, they got 2 freshmen that's going to be stars and future NFL picks, and Marvin Jones Jr. and Williams. I can't remember his first name. 2 5-stars. So, they grow 5 stars on trees in Georgia. I think in their 2 deep on their front 7, they got multiple 5 stars at every position.
I think the biggest problem with Florida here, and what really scares me, is that their defense against good competition. When I say good competition, I'm saying Utah, Kentucky, Tennessee.
They get stifled.
And LSU, they get their ass fucking handed to them.
Yeah, they get beat up front. They get whooped up front.
They're 105th in EPA against the run, which is like 105th out of like 140 something Division I programs.
I mean, they're probably almost last in the SEC. Like 11, 12. Yeah,
they're pretty bad. And then that was against the run, and then against the pass, they're not much better. They're 79th, and they're 107th in success rate. So,
but a good thing about that, Georgia wide receivers don't really kill you. It's just their tight ends.
Yep. And I mean, Florida did contain Utah's tight ends pretty well.
Yeah, they did.
So that is something to keep in mind. However, Georgia's defense a lot better than Utah's defense.
A lot better. Not even close. And
so that could be an issue.
Because that defense lost 5 first-round picks last year, and they're still, top 10 in the nation, top 5?
So, hold on, let me pull up. Efficiency-wise, they are defensively number 1 in the country.
That's crazy.
And then if you look at EPA, they are against the rush, they're 4th, and against the pass, they're 4th.
Yeah, good luck. What's the point spread?
22.5.
I think Florida covers, but unless Georgia comes out here and play and turns the ball over like crazy like Clemson did. That's the only way I give Florida a shot at winning this game. I think they could cover the 22.5 though.
Yeah, dude, the only way Florida covers this game is if Anthony Richardson is absolutely spectacular. Right? He has to make unbelievable plays. And the crazy thing is, Irv, is like this is the kind of situation where it very well could happen. What do they call this game? The fucking
I forgot what it's called.
The cocktail fucking party or whatever.
Let's see.
What's the nickname of this game? There's a fucking nickname for it. The margarita party, the fucking Tommy Bahama Bowl or whatever.
It's called the world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
The world's largest outdoor cocktail party. That's the name of this bowl.
Since the 50s, I didn't even know that.
Let's look at the trends in this game. Hold on.
I know Florida hasn't beat Georgia since.
The Gators are, oh my God, Florida 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 meetings in this. I'm gonna go with the under.
Yeah, I like the under honestly because with it raining, I think Georgia is going to try to pound the rock and try to hit them over the top with play action with Bowers and Washington. Now their receivers can do damage, but I think Florida's secondary is more than well enough to equipped to handle the receivers. They just got to worry about the tight end and the running backs, and I think that's going to be too much for them.
Yeah, I mean,
And also now you got to account for Stetson Bennett's legs because he's running the ball a lot more with his legs now too.
he's running the ball very well, which is why they are such a good. They're part. I shouldn't say why, but part of the reason why they are such a good rushing team this year is because Stetson Bennett is running the football.
Yeah.
Whew. I lean Florida with the points. I mean, 22.5 is a lot, and considering Florida's covered the last 4 out of 5 games against Georgia, I kind of like that. Last year is the only one they didn't. And they got Anthony Richardson. I just think Anthony Richardson, he's gonna step up in the moment. He did against Utah. He came up big.
Yeah, kid is a gamer. It's just I just wish Florida had a little bit more talent around him.
Yeah, no, I mean they will. They'll get there. They'll get there.
They got one more year with him. I don't think he's going to the draft.
He shouldn't. There's a lot of people that are saying he could be the 3rd or 4th quarterback taken this year.
Yeah, I know that a lot of mock drafts got him in the first round, so that could be really enticing to a kid. But with NIL, that might help his chances at coming back.
Yeah, that's true. And I like Billy Napier, dude. I like what he's building here. So
yeah, and they got a pretty good recruiting class. They got a shot at a 5-star number 1 corner tomorrow. So let's see what he can do. I think it's going to take him a couple years. Florida should be patient with him. But if he gets his players and coaches them up the way he can, especially the way he did at Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns, Florida's going to be all right.
I agree. All right, let's move into this next game. We got a Big 12 matchup here. We got Oklahoma State heading into Kansas State. Right now, Oklahoma State catching 1.5 points, so plus 1.5. Oklahoma State. Yeah, I said Oklahoma State plus 1. There's too many states, dude. Jesus Christ. Kansas State Wildcats laying 1.5 right now, and the total is 56. Sorry, the total is 56. Oklahoma State 6-1 straight up, 5-2 against the spread, 6-1 to the over. Kansas State 5-2 straight up, 4-2-1 against the spread, 3-4 against the over. I do want to put an asterisk next to Kansas State because if Adrian Martinez doesn't get hurt, they blow the fucking brakes off TCU.
Yeah, so and that's gonna have a big impact on this game too. If he's playing this game,
I think he's playing, dude, because he put his helmet on last game.
Yeah, they just didn't put him back in. So.
Yeah, and they have him listed as questionable right now. And even the backup, I mean, Will Howard didn't look bad until he got hurt. And then he got hurt and he tried to come back in and he never was the same. And that was the difference in that game. So, I mean, if one of those two guys plays and they're healthy, I think they win this game.
Yeah, definitely like the over for sure.
The over? Yeah, I mean, Ohio State, dude, they fucking, I feel like every one of their fucking games goes over. Because Oklahoma State defensively, Oklahoma State, 6-1 to the over.
Yeah, because their defense starts off good, but once you figure out that secondary and those linebackers can't really cover too well, teams start picking them apart. The thing about them is they always come up with a timely stop, and they luck out and win the game.
Yep. If you're one of those people that likes to look at situations and spots, this could be a good spot to fade Kansas State in the sense that next week they have Texas at home. So a big matchup there, and I don't know, that does play a part sometimes. I feel like these kind of spot plays haven't been working out all that well this year. But that could be a spot play. I do think that Oklahoma State I don't know how they're 6-1 right now, but somehow they managed to just win games. Last week
they had no business winning that Texas game.
Yeah, last week against Texas, they had 0 penalties, and Texas had 14 for 100 and how many yards? 140 something yards.
40 yards, 50 some yards. Yeah, that was like they was the Broncos of the NFL, the college football.
Some of them were very questionable, though.
Yeah, it was kind of like some of those USC, those phantom calls. You gotta love it.
Yep. So I think Oklahoma State got a little bit of home cooking there. I like Kansas State in this game. I think Kansas State is definitely one of the better teams in the Big 12 this season.
Exactly, because they have a good offense and they easily got probably the best defense in the Big 12 besides Iowa State, but Iowa State can't score. So.
Yeah, Iowa State cannot score. And like I said, dude, if like they were handling TCU last week until their second string quarterback gets hurt. The second Howard got hurt, the whole game just fucking took a turn, dude. Yeah, and he tried to come back, but he couldn't make any throws.
If they could limit Spencer Sanders' legs too, that gives him even more of a chance to win this game because his arm is hit or miss right now. He's not really picking teams. He's not really killing teams from the pocket. Everything is outside the pocket and him using his legs.
Yeah, I mean, as a rushing team, Oklahoma State not that good. They're 85th EPA, which is bottom half of the league, and then passing, they're a little bit better. They're 56, but I mean their offense. That's what I'm saying. Like for this, it's crazy the fact that like they're as good as they are record wise because all of their data says that they shouldn't be as good as they are. All right, so that usually means that there's regression coming. There's regression to the mean coming. So I like Kansas State here. A lot of it, I haven't played this game yet because I am waiting on news of what's his face? Martinez?
Adrian Martinez.
However, if Adrian Martinez is cleared to play, this line's going to move up to 3. -3, at least. -3.5, maybe. -4. So, I do think that it's probably better to lock it in now and just take your chances. If Adrian Martinez doesn't play, then, you know, we pray for a fucking Hail Mary, dude. and Kansas State's at home, so I mean we got that home field advantage too.
Facts.
So we got that looking behind us. All right, let's look at our next game we got here. Let me go to it. We got Kentucky at Tennessee. Big SEC matchup here. Woo! Kentucky at Tennessee. Tennessee laying 12.5 right here, Irv. The total is 62.5. Kentucky right now 5-2 straight up, 5-2 against the spread, 1-6 to the over. Tennessee 7-0 straight up, 6-1 against the spread, 5-2 to the over. What's your thoughts here?
This game is going to come down to, is Kentucky more the team we thought they was going to be offensively before the season, or they're going to be the team we saw on offense against Florida and Mississippi State? I think those are the 2 losses where the offense got completely shut down in the second half. I know one of those games Will Levi got hurt, and Ole Miss.
That was against Ole Miss.
Yeah. Oh, well, Ole Miss, they should have won that game. I don't know, man. Tennessee's just rolling right now. Hendon Hooker is looking like your Heisman favorite. They put up 52 points on Alabama. They're going to be rocking and rolling and kneeling again.
I'm hoping Hendon Hooker is Heisman, baby. I got him 260 to 1 to win Heisman.
So, it's not looking too good for Kentucky, honestly. Tennessee is rolling right now, and I know they're not going to overlook Kentucky because they got a big game against Georgia next week. And I said in these 3 games, they could easily go 2-1 or 3-0. So I definitely think they win this game and they cover at home. I probably see them winning by at least 3 touchdowns or more.
There's no fucking way, dude. No way.
I got them winning by 3 touchdowns.
Kentucky's too good of a football team.
Yeah.
If you recall last year when these 2 teams played, Will Levis was the best player on the field in that game. Now, yes, I do think Tennessee is the better team. However, I think this is too many points. Kentucky is a good defense. They are 19th against the run, 15th against the pass EPA. So, I mean, they're top half of the league. And on the flip side, Tennessee, they're 17th against the rush, but they're 75th against the pass. Now, what does Kentucky do well? They run the ball very well. Christian Rodriguez obviously back. But Will Levis, when he's in 15th EPA or I'm sorry, 19th EPA passing the ball. So I think that they have enough to compete in this game. Now let's remember, Florida covered against Tennessee. While it was wild,
Yeah, that
they
was a
did.
wild ass backdoor cover.
They did. They covered though, right? Great teams win, or good teams win. Great teams cover. I think Will Levi. I think Levis. I don't know how to fight. Is it Levi's or Levis?
I call him. I say Levi.
I always hear Levis, and I hear some people call him Levi's. I think it's Levis though. Will Levis, in my opinion, is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And when he's healthy, Kentucky is a much different team, right? The game he doesn't play, they lose 24-14 against South Carolina. He gets injured in the Ole Miss game. They lose 22-19. They should have fucking won that game. Then they beat the fucking shit out of Mississippi State 27-17 in a game where Mississippi was the favorite in that game, right? I like Kentucky here, Irv. I think it's too many points, and I like Tennessee, bro. I love Tennessee.
You like them to cover.
I like them to cover, not necessarily to win, but this is a big matchup, and I think Kentucky's defense. This is probably the best defense Tennessee's gonna face all year.
And what if they shred them?
Then, we got Tennessee against Georgia next week, and that might be for the SEC
championship.
Very well could be. I mean, like, dude, we said it before the season, bro. You and I both said, I'm gonna pull up the audio before that week. We both said Tennessee was going to compete for this conference.
Yeah, and they was gonna go over.
But that doesn't mean they're gonna cover every single. No one covers every single game.
Yeah. I definitely think. I feel you. Well, Bama's weakness in the on defense was the secondary, and Tennessee took full advantage of that.
And Kentucky doesn't have that weakness.
Kentucky doesn't have that weakness, but the thing Kentucky struggles with is getting after the quarterback. And if they give Hooker too much time in the pocket, those receivers are going to break off routes. He's going to find the open man. Shit, he might even he doesn't use his legs as much as people. He could use his legs a lot more. He's just picking people apart from the pocket right now. So
yeah, last year this matchup was 45-42. So it was a shootout.
And this has potential being a shootout too.
Yeah, honestly. I agree with that, to be honest, because I think that highly of Tennessee's offense, but I also think people forget how good Will Levis is, and like I've seen Will Levis being mocked like as a second, third quarterback in this year's draft, and people are like, "Well, that dude sucks." Like, no, he doesn't. He first of all, he lost his number one wide receiver last year, Wendell Robinson. He's still fucking putting up numbers, and he has a fucking fractured rib. You know what I mean? So the dude's a fucking gamer, dog.
That dude's a real deal. Like one scout came out today and said they see a lot of Josh Allen in his game.
Yeah, he's got a fucking arm, dude.
But he's way more accurate than what Josh Allen was in college. So it only is not like if you draft Will Levi in the first round, you could be getting a bona fide franchise QB that could change your.
I think he could be QB1 when all is said and done.
He could be because a lot of people's gonna hold Bryce size against him, which I wouldn't because his arm is just that good. The accuracy, the ball placement, and he's not playing with world beaters at wide receiver like all those other Alabama QBs. So
but he was last year, and his numbers are way down from last year.
Well, last year they wasn't all world. He had what?
All world. He had Jalen Waddle, first round pick.
No, he didn't have Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, Waddle was a first. Oh no.
No, he had Williams.
He had Mechie and Williams. Sorry, Mechie and Williams.
Yeah, so
Alabama be churning out these fucking first round wide receivers, dog.
They had one last year. Tua, Mac Jones, and the other dude played with 4 first round wide receivers on both teams. So trust me, Bryce is a real deal too. But I see if somebody does take Will Levi over Bryce or over CJ, which I understand because his measurables and what he's putting out on film, but I wouldn't be shocked, but I'll be a little surprised because I think Bryce and CJ got 1 and 2 locked up right now.
I think CJ Stroud is QB1 without a doubt. I'm not as sold on Bryce Young though.
Well, I got him. I got CJ's QB1 too, but Bryce is like
I would
hair
take Levis over Bryce Young.
I wouldn't.
If Young went to USC, I might change that opinion, but I'm joking. Will Levis is nice, dude.
Well, I don't know why biased, but
I don't know why people hate on Will Levis at all.
nah, I don't think people are hating on him. They just don't think he's good as Bryce and CJ. He can be right system, right players. It's all about fit and where you go. Now, the good thing about these quarterbacks, the teams that they're going to are all improving. So it's not just going to be a complete rebuild, and you're going to have a dog shit roster. So let's say, for instance, Seattle, if they draft a QB, the offensive line is pretty much in place. It's playing way better than what they ever had under Pete Carroll. Defense is.
Yeah, but Seattle might not have a top pick. Well, I mean, they got the Broncos pick, so
they got the Broncos pick. So, and even if they fall on their face, they still gonna. What's the name? They still gonna have 2 first rounders, so they could easily trade up, add another first rounder, and trade up. If they really want a QB, so it'll work. It's gonna work itself out.
Bro, I hate the Denver Broncos. Y'all really gave the Seahawks a first round pick, and then you decided to be trash. And they play in my team's division.
It's not like they planned on being 2-5.
Yeah, but they hired Nathaniel Can't Hack It. They did that.
Yeah, but even then, it's more than just him. The defense is too undisciplined. The injuries. It's just
that's all coaching,
storm.
dude.
It's just the perfect storm of a big pile of dog shit. So I just hope Seattle does another dumbass John Snyder move with that draft pick.
I mean, they've been drafting pretty well lately.
Well, they had a good draft last year, but before that draft, who's really done good in their draft picks besides DK?
We'll see what happens. All right, let's move on to our next team. We got Ole Miss heading into College Station. CJ's team. Shout out to CJ.
That's not his team. Why everybody think Texas A&M was his team?
We do it as a joke because he lives near College Station.
Oh, okay. Then Michael always on his head. The reason why Michael say Texas A&M is his team because he the one that broke the news to Michael that Jimbo Fisher was leaving Florida State.
Yeah, we just always call it his team, bro. It's his team. Shout out to CJ.
He don't have a team. USC used to be his team.
His Texas A&M Aggies. So Ole Miss 7-1 straight up, 3-5 against the spread, 4-4 to the over. Going into College Station to face the Texas A&M Aggies, who are 3-4 straight up, 3-4 against the spread, and 2-5 to the over. They are 2-1 at home, by the way. Right now, Ole Miss laying 2, Texas A&M 2-point dogs at home. The total is 55. What do you think about this one?
Probably definitely goes under. Florida, Texas A&M has been a lot better at home than they have been on the road. Ole Miss, low key, we said they might be getting exposed by LSU.
Yep,
that's what happened to them, and they're beat up on defense right now. I think three or four of their top tacklers are out with injuries. One got suspended from the game for targeting, so I think he's gonna miss the first half of this game.
For who? Ole Miss?
Yeah, they had a target, and one of their safeties got called for targeting against LSU.
Let me see real quick.
I think it was in the second half.
I don't see it listed, but you could be right.
Because I know they got called for a targeting. I don't know if it was one of the safeties or one of the corners, but it was definitely a targeting. I know both they starting safeties are out. I don't know. I think Finley might be questionable or a game time decision, and I know they're missing a linebacker too. So if I had to choose, give me Texas A&M with the points, but I think this is gonna be an ugly game, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, none of Texas A&M's games are fucking pretty to be honest, but I just think laying points or laying points on the road in a conference game, and Ole Miss hasn't really like played anybody on the road. They just played LSU, and LSU isn't necessarily a great team, and they played them at home and they or out on the road, and they got their ass fucking beat, dude, 45-20. Like that shit was nasty as fuck.
Yeah, they got their ass whooped.
Texas A&M is a good defensive team. I mean, they're 52nd against the rush in EPA, 23rd against the pass. But they played better competition better, if that makes any sense. Like when they played Alabama, they only allowed 24 points, and I was on the road.
Yeah, they actually played Bama a lot closer to where anybody thought they would.
Yeah. So this is a team, in my opinion, that like they step up the competition. They play Arkansas in Jerry's World. They end up winning that game. I know it took a fucking doink and a dank to win that game, but this team just like they seem to rise to the occasion. And I think that like them suspending these 5-star true freshmen, I think it does set a precedent to the program, and it's like, hey, like nobody's bigger than Texas A&M.
Yeah, that could be a blessing in disguise, but when you're suspending your two best playmakers on offense and they're both true freshmen.
Yeah, but the quarterback can't get them the ball anyway, so it don't even matter. It's not like they played in a while
Well,
anyways.
Wegman played a lot better than than King and the other guy. Max Johnson probably has played the best, but he's out for the year with that hand injury.
Yep.
But when I think I know it's Chris Marshall. I don't know if Evan Stewart is suspended too.
Chris Marshall, Patrick Williams, Harris. That's the only ones I see suspended.
Okay, because they said there's 2 more players suspended, but they haven't released their names yet.
Yeah, so those are the only 2 that are released.
Okay, so it could be Evan Stewart too, because I was saying on Twitter that people were alluding that it was him. But I definitely think it goes under, especially with Texas A&M missing some of their better playmakers on offense. So that means the defense is going to have to step up and get some stops and maybe a turnover or 2 if they can. Against
if you're relying on anything but Texas A&M's defense, dude, you're asking for a fucking Hail Mary.
Yeah. So let's see what the offense can string together. Can they score enough points to win the game? Now, one thing we do know, Ole Miss is going to put up points against pretty much anybody. The reason why they didn't put up a lot against LSU because LSU has a damn good pass rush and they knocked
Jackson Dart off his spot. Though.
Yeah, so they knocked Jackson Dart off his spot and he wasn't comfortable in the pocket and a lot of his throws were selling and he was missing players. He actually missed 2 touchdowns on deep balls too as well. One was a drop, but the other one he overthrew.
If you look at their schedule, they played like 2 good teams, and that's Kentucky and LSU. And in both those games, they put up 22 and 20. So they're averaging 21 points in those games.
Yeah, so that means Texas A&M has to score 24 to win, so they can't do that.
They can easily. They scored 24 last week. You know what I mean? So, and they're at home. And it's their homecoming.
Let's see what they can do.
Irv's lighting a fire under their ass. Let's go.
Nah, not really. I'm not really an A&M fan. Fuck that team. But
come on, dude. You're signing with CJ.
Keep buying those players with NIL and see how that works out for you.
You got to develop them. You can't just get them. You got to develop them.
Exactly. So, you know what I mean? Good luck with that. I'm not. If I had to choose, like you said, being at home, especially in the SEC, is a big advantage. Even if you're not that good of a team, it's a rivalry game. It's a conference game. Anything can happen. So if I had to choose this game, I would take Ole Miss with the points.
It's a terrible pick. I'm gonna take Texas A&M with the points here.
Yeah.
Let's go, y'all.
All right, let's get some best bets from these games we just talked about. Let's give me 2 best bets here.
My 2 best bets will be Ohio State to cover the minus 15.5.
Ooh, that's bold. Okay.
And I like the over for OK State and TCU.
All right, I'm gonna take Kansas State minus 1.5, and I'm also going to take the points for Texas A&M +2. Give me Texas A&M +2 at home against Ole Miss. I like that one.
OK State is playing in
Kansas
TCU
State
or Kansas State.
Kansas State.
Okay, Kansas State. I like the over.
Kansas State. All right, y'all. Thank you for joining us. Hope y'all guys hopefully you got some positive information from this podcast here. You can add it to your information. Definitely follow us on Twitter. You can follow Irvin at Swervin Irvin TSP. You can follow myself at Jordan Rules TSP. We'll be posting our top 5 plays for college football Saturday, sometime either tomorrow or Friday, because we do have 3 games tomorrow and then we have a couple on Friday. So definitely stay locked in for that. Keep in mind that it is our top 5 picks as of the spreads right now. Could have played some games earlier, but do like these games at these spreads. Catch us on Sunday night. Actually, this Sunday, I don't know if we're gonna be doing a show because I'm going to be joining my good friend Jason Maples on the Temple of Hoop podcast on Sunday. So if we don't do a tap room, we'll be doing one on Monday, me and Irving, and we'll go over the NFL games then. But for Swerving Irvin Washington, I'm Jordan Stacks on Stacks on Stacks, lads. Make sure to go to Devour.com or download the Devour app straight to your mobile device. Use promo code TAPROOM for $10 off your first purchase, $25 or more. Our top 5 picks are coming out tomorrow or Friday. NFL Saturday evening. Definitely stay locked for those because me and everyone went 0-10 last week. So I mean, if you faded us, dude, you made some great money.
Made a lot of money.
Yeah, but you know, there's no way that happens again. So we'll bounce back, dude. I bounced back big this week in NBA. So let's keep it rolling, man. Let's keep it rolling. Let's go.